Now at 6 and streaming on CrossRoadsToday.com, Warriors Weekend returns to the Crossroads in a big way. Riverside Park starts to reopen after the Guadalupe River flooding. And the state legislature is looking at passing the largest property tax cut in Texas history.
And we have lots of sunshine for today and arrival of the Warriors. We've got a great looking day. Now tomorrow, a few clouds, but I think overall we'll stay dry for the weekend. I'll have your 7-day coming up in a moment.
And a new sports club is coming to the Crossroads. We hear from the leader of the program in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Karina Garcia is off tonight. Just before 11 a.m., 2 vehicles were involved in a crash on North Navarro Street. A white Ford Expedition was facing south on Navarro and turned into an '05 Chevy Silverado. The driver in the Expedition was taken to DeTar Hospital in non-life-threatening condition, and the passenger in the Chevy Silverado was taken to Citizens Medical Center, also in non-life-threatening condition. This weekend, the Warriors Weekend returns to the Crossroads. 300 military veterans rode in a caravan this afternoon through Victoria, where they received a hero's welcome. 25 News Now reporter Adarius McCormick caught up with the caravan and has the latest. Adarius?
That's right, Don. 300 vets hit the road for over 100 miles to the Warriors Weekend Field of Honor. The vets made a stop at Parkway Church, 4802 North John Stockbauer Drive. Here the community showed up and showed support. Flags waved, the national anthem sang, patriotism shone. One of the leaders who brought the event to Victoria says the support was all he wanted.
Shut down your business for 30 minutes. Go outside, wave to the buses, show your support for these folks that are not quite healed, okay? And show them what South Texas and our patriotism and our values are all about.
Businesses down John Stockbauer up to Navarro showed the support Colonel Petrash asked for. The caravan left the Field of Honor and made their way to Port Lavaca and Seadrift. The caravan was escorted by first responders, Blue Knights, and Chapter 7. Right now, the caravan is in Seadrift on Highway 185, and then it's going to be in Port Lavaca and also in Port Lavaca, Highway 35, for that fishing tournament Saturday. Don, back to you.
Adarius, thank you. And this brings us to our viewer poll this evening. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. Here's our question. Do you know a veteran who has taken part in the the Warriors Weekend fishing tournament? Yes or no? Let's look at those numbers. 14% yes and 86% no. We want to hear from you. Come to CrossRoadsToday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have an update on 25 News Now at 10. Victoria Parks and Recreation has reopened some areas in and around Riverside Park as the Guadalupe River begins to return to its normal level. There's the boat ramp still closed. Red River and Bluff Streets are reopened, along with the RV Park and McCrite Drive between the Memorial Rose Garden and Riverside Golf Course. Here are the current river flood warnings posted for the Crossroads from the National Weather Service. In Victoria and Calhoun counties, a river flood warning in effect until further notice for the Guadalupe River near Bloomington. In DeWitt County, a river flood warning in effect until late this evening for Sandy's Creek near Westhoff. And now let's take a first look at your forecast. Here's First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. And Mac, just in time for the weekend, a few of these river flood warnings are going away thanks to the sun.
Thanks to the sun, a couple of dry days. Yeah, things are looking better and couldn't be better for the weekend for the Warriors that we welcome to town. We're at 88 degrees right about now. We got up to a high today of 89. The temperatures will be warm, but a little bit of low humidity is always appreciated around here, and that's going to help us out for the weekend. I'll have more on your forecast coming up a little bit later on. Don, back to you.
Back, thank you. Victoria's unemployment rate fell in April. The Texas Workforce Commission reports Victoria's unemployment rate last month was 3.8%. That's 0.4 of a point lower than in March. It's the same unemployment rate Victoria had last April. The state's unemployment rate for April, 4%. This Saturday at noon, there's a memorial service for the 19 undocumented immigrants killed on May 14, 2003. The memorial service will be at Fleming Prairie Road and U.S. Highway 77. That's where the 19 undocumented immigrants died 20 years ago last Sunday. The victims died inside the back of a hot-packed tractor trailer. A total of 70 people were inside the truck, which reached 173 degrees. A 5-year-old boy was among the dead. The Victoria Police Department reports there have been 134 vehicle burglaries in the city so far this year. In 107 of those cases, the vehicles burglarized were left unlocked. Victoria PD also reports 12 catalytic converter thefts this year. Texas House lawmakers have given first approval to the largest property tax cut in state history. The House-approved version of Senate Bill 3 increases the homestead tax exemption from $40,000 to $100,000. For Texans 65 and older, the number rises to $110,000. The bill also reduces the property appraisal cap from 10 to 5% for all property in Texas. Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis interviewed Daniel Brown with the National Hurricane Center as we approach hurricane season. Here's an excerpt of the interview.
Yeah, so storm surge is really the winds of the hurricane pushing that seawater onshore. So think of it as if you're in a swimming pool or bathtub and you take your arm and you sweep it across the surface of the water. That's what the hurricane is doing to push that water onshore. We saw that with Hurricane Ian last year in Southwest Florida. A significant, devastating storm surge. And if you hear a storm surge washer warning, it's a newer warning that we're issuing at the National Hurricane Center and Weather Service. But when you hear that warning, just know that there's a risk of life-threatening storm surge. And that's when we want people to then evacuate, listen to your local officials, and evacuate from that threat.
You can watch the full 8-minute interview on our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and on 25 News Now Weekend, Saturday at 6 p.m. And join us June 5th for Storm Prep 2023 at 6:30 p.m. on KAVU TV. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, big cities across the U.S. are taking in more migrants from the U.S.-Mexico border. Also ahead, South Texas-based SpaceX launches more internet satellites.
I'm laying there bleeding, shot. My kids are terrified.
Some kid was like whispering, Miss Avila, Miss Avila, Miss Avila. Oh, wake up, wake up.
I couldn't tell him I was okay because I was in so much pain. I couldn't move, I couldn't talk.
Can we break that window, get the kids out? There's schools on this side.
When the cops broke the window, the sun like shined in the classroom.
More kids coming out, more kids coming out.
And I just like jumped out and then I ran.
When I saw him run out, it gave me a sense of relief. I thought I had lost him.
After the last student was out, then they started to tell me, come on, ma'am, come on, let's go. I told them, I'm shot, I can't.
Yeah. One kid?
Oh, we have the teacher in there shot.
Okay, the teacher shot in there. She shot. We're still gonna get her out, Pedro, get her out.
And then so one of the officers jumped in and he pushed me out the window, and other two officers caught me, and then the two officers started walking me towards the parking lot.
Several U.S. cities are taking in busloads of migrants sent from Texas in recent days. The New York City mayor saying that nearly 50% of hotel rooms are now being used as shelters. Governor Greg Abbott stands by his plan, saying that if the U.S. government won't step in to ease the border crisis, he will.
Because we have managed it well, people have the belief, well, it can't be that bad. No, it's bad.
Cities like New York taking in around 600 migrants a day from Texas now, according to the mayor's office, double the volume since Title 42 ended. Manhattan's long-closed Roosevelt Hotel reopened Friday as the latest large-scale migrant shelter. Yet even as a city filled with hotels, resources are stretched.
Almost 50% of those hotel rooms have been taken up by migrant asylum seekers that we're paying for.
No shelters on school grounds.
A plan to house migrants in some standalone public school gyms was met with major backlash earlier this week.
They're all welcome, just not to our school next to our children where they'll be exposed to this.
And whomever is telling us not to go somewhere, you tell me where we should go then.
Denver, Colorado became the 5th city to receive migrants from Texas. The first bus arrived Thursday, and shelters are filling up fast with migrant families. Denver's mayor tweeting overnight he's happy to bill Texas for the cost of care, accusing Governor Abbott of failing to manage his own state.
Texas has had to respond to the Biden administration's refusal to enforce the immigration laws.
The mayors of at least 4 cities, including Denver and New York, sent a letter to President Joe Biden asking for federal help as the buses keep arriving. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
SpaceX launched a new batch of Starlink internet satellites from Cape Canaveral in Florida this morning. The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying 22 upgraded new generation internet satellites, the first of 2 SpaceX missions scheduled for a launch in a span of 7 hours. So far, based in Boca Chica near Brownsville, has launched more than 4,000 of Starlink's flat-packed internet beaming satellites. The service has more than 1 million users.
And good afternoon, everyone. Had brilliant sunshine today for the welcoming of the Warriors. Now let's take a look at the weekend. We'll have that coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Community Crossroads. We hear from a local author, we also hear from the Salvation Army of Victoria, and we also hear from the municipal judge for the city of Victoria.
We've created some new programs, and one of the programs we've created is what I call our outreach docket. And so we don't hold court in the traditional courtroom. We hold court with some of our partners in the community.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you had a chance to welcome all the Warriors. We were standing out on Navarro, and they seemed very excited that everybody was coming out to greet them. We've got a beautiful day over the Crossroads. Lots of sunshine today, getting us up to almost 89 degrees. Up in North Texas, however, two things are happening. We have a little frontal system draped right along the center of these yellow boxes, and all these counties are under a severe thunderstorm warning. In other words, we've got big storms that are firing up there right now. We've got the lifting of the cold front. It's really kind of a cool front, but there is lifting. And then, of course, all the heating that's occurring right about now. At this point in time, it looks like most of this stuff is going to stay up there. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. Now, here's the good news on the Guadalupe River at Victoria. So this would be at Riverside Park. You can see how we were at the top right there, ready to go into major flooding right about there. And then all of a sudden things started dropping. Here we are today, a couple of dry days, and that's where you are for your Friday. Here's Saturday and then Sunday. So looks like things will be cleaning up, or clearing up at least, down at Riverside, and you may actually get out there on the golf course, I think, as the water levels continue dropping over the next couple of days. And then we really don't see any significant rainfall over the next 7 days. Now, as you see right here, here's that little front. Now, it's not a cold front, but it is the wind shift line, and it is the focusing mechanism for the big storms up there today. Now, as you can see, they do fire up, but then they sort of fall apart as they move into our region because we have higher pressure. So basically it's meeting resistance. So the thunderstorms don't seem like they're going to hold together even as the front moves through our area, and that would be Saturday night. So most of the day will be on Saturday. We'll have a southeast wind, but overnight, all of a sudden you're going to feel a north wind coming in, and that's going to help make it a very good looking Sunday. Even though thunder showers will be out in far west Texas over the weekend, it doesn't look like any of that is moving toward us. So for those of you in the Cuero area, you got to know that we wake up with a little bit of morning cloud cover, maybe even some fog. 72 our low. Then in the afternoon, we'll get up to 82 at lunchtime, 83 for your afternoon high. So a pretty good looking day, lots of sun. If that front comes through maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, the chances of rain are not good at all, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Here's the good stuff. We've got great conditions out on the water for all the Warriors in town. Let's see, there's your low tide. High tide will be right at about noon. So some fish the tides, right? Some fish the moon. So it's all your choice there. So we'll have a north wind by Saturday night, and then becoming gradually eastward. But here, seas 1 to 2 feet. That's great. And bays will be on the smooth side, so nobody's going to be going up and down like that. So 71 our overnight low. We may have a little fog in the morning hours. Otherwise, we're looking for partly cloudy and warm conditions. High temperature up to about 85. 7-day outlook, well, other than the Saturday night thing, we're looking for dry weather Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And temperatures getting up to the upper 80s to near 90 degrees. That is your 7-day forecast. Want to remind everybody, we've got that QR code. If you scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone and take us wherever you need to go. And now it's time for Don.
All right, Mike, thank you. And here's Sports Director Gino Perez.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it. And East Titan is heading up to Ohio to play football. We hear from him after the break.
I bought those bears. I matched to the best that I could each bear with every student, like their favorite color. As a teacher, as an educator, you never think about losing a student. But to lose like 11 at a time, I mean, it's a lot at once.
Out at Crossroads, Hall of Fame Cleveland running back Jim Brown died at the age of 87. Arguably the greatest running back ever died Thursday night in his home in Los Angeles. In his 9 seasons, he led the league in rushing 8 times, was a Pro Bowler 9 times, first team All Pro Bowl 8 times, and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971. He was more than just an athlete. He was also a civil rights activist and stood with the likes of Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Bill Russell. Brown still holds some records that might never fall. He has 8 rushing titles. No other player in NFL history has more than 4. He rushed for 104.3 yards per game and is the only player in NFL history who averaged more than 100. A local high school is hosting an open house today to unveil its new esports lab. Calhoun High School is in the process of building an esports and gaming club. This lab has been in the works since 2019 and was slowed down due to COVID-19. The entire setup is brand new and includes 20 computers, keyboards, mice, monitors, gaming chairs, and more for a total of $60,000. The man that put it all together, Andrew Camacho, says it has been an amazing time and something like this coming together, but the job is not done.
You know, that's the reaction we want. We want the parents and everybody to see that, well, it is legit. It's not just, we could have made it just a normal lab like this with nothing else, and then it would have been cool, but not, you know, it wouldn't have been the eye grabber that we were looking for.
The after-school program is having sign-ups over the summer for incoming freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors for the fall of 2023. Camacho hopes to have competitive matches with other schools around the area and teach students skills like communication, teamwork, and leadership. The top 3 games the club will play in competitive leagues are Rocket League, Super Smash Brothers, and League of Legends. Earlier today, around noon, a Victoria East Titan signed his letter of intent to play college ball at the next level. Jakarian Giles will be taking his talents to Ohio to play Division III football at Mount Union College. The Raiders reached out to him, and in a second, his dreams came true. His goals are to start as a freshman and to, of course, win a championship.
It means they really care for me. I really love them. It feels really great. Everything I work every morning, every day. Waking up early in the morning, every practice, working hard just to get here where I am today.
Even former football head coach for the Titans, Coach Roland Gonzalez, showed up to show support for the 2-year starter. Giles wants to get a degree in business management and eventually open his own shoe and clothing store if football does not work out. His reporting date to Ohio is August 8th. Well, that's your sports. Don, back to you.
All right, Gino, thank you. We're back in a moment. Former racing dogs are taken across the pond to their new home in Florida.
This is all from Lexi. Lexi was most comfortable in her home. That was where she last was. That's our last memories with her. Oh, this is what I needed. This is the tattoo. Lexi drew this for me. It says the best mom, not only the best mom, the best mom. That's me. She's underneath me. I came across it on my Instagram because I had shared it and I was like, that'll be a perfect tattoo. It was how Lexi saw me and her, and I love that about this image. I would have stayed in that house forever. I would have begged the owner to let me buy it eventually. But I knew it wasn't good for everyone else.
That's Lexi's final home. Once we had everything moved out, and it was just me and Kim there before we locked the door and everything. I made a call out for Lexi, yelled, "It's time to go, Lexi." That was hard.
I think it felt like the end, like closing this chapter, but there is no new chapter.
Finally tonight, former Greyhound race dogs are getting a second chance after being adopted by forever families to give them loving homes after years of discipline. A British Airways flight landed at Tampa International Airport with the dogs, who were quickly united with their new families. There were a dozen dogs on the flight. The Greyhound adoption season runs from January through May. After May, it's often too hot to fly them from overseas in the plane's cargo hold. That's what they were doing back in the day in Ireland. And I remember, Mac, there used to be a Greyhound racing track in Corpus Christi back in the day. Did you ever go there?
I did, as a matter of fact, but unfortunately it's no longer operative.
How about that? That closed several years ago.
The track is still there, but nobody's using it. So,
oh boy,
you know, I'm surprised they didn't give them first class to sit in. You know,
oh yeah,
it's a rough life out there. You know?
I mean, really, they've had a rough life. They deserve first class.
Absolutely,
well, folks. It's a good weekend for our Warriors that are in town, and we've got plenty of sunshine. Now tomorrow, I have that little 20%, but that's late at night, so most of the day will be good. Getting mostly sunny, 85. And then that little front will actually shift the wind around a little bit. It'll be out of the north on Sunday, but then we're into that early summertime pattern with lots of sun and temperatures pushing the 90-degree mark.
All right. And if any of the Warriors are watching, we say thank you so much for your service to our country, and have a great time tomorrow fishing at Port O'Connor. And the weather's going to be nice, Max said so. So you know
catch all the redfish you can, and I mean they fillet it there, right there for them. And,
yes.
Oh man, can't beat it.
Thank you to the volunteers who do that too. All right, thank you, gentlemen, and thanks for joining us. Remember, we're streaming 24/7 Crossroads Today Plus. We'll hope you join us tonight for 25 News Now at 10. Have a good one, everybody.